Welcome back to the Exiled Club. I'm Jacobite and I'm here with Derek up north. We're here to talk about wrestling. But yeah, let's jump into Raw since that's the beginning of the week.
Well, I think we should run it all the way back to the premiere episode of Raw on Netflix because we haven't really talked about that a whole lot.
Well, that's true. I mean, we just got back, so let's rewind because Netflix was a big ass deal.
Yeah,
Huge actually. It's
I mean, it was pretty incredible, and I think you and I can both agree that the production value on that first night on Netflix was just insane. I didn't feel like I was watching a normal Monday Night Raw at all. I felt like they were bringing almost a pay-per-view quality level of entertainment to our screens for the first time on Netflix. So I thought that was interesting. But I think, there was only like four. I think there was four matches
yeah.
throughout the course of the night, which I don't know. I would have liked to see more wrestling and a little less of the ins and outs of each of those feuds and why they were fighting. Never mind the fact that there was certain people that they just chose not to showcase. I mean, it's Raw. Gunther wasn't didn't even have a match,
Yeah,
and
that's
he's
true.
He's the world heavyweight champion, right? So there was a lot of stuff that I really loved about it, and there was a lot of stuff that I'm not so sure about. Fortunately, I'm in the camp where I'm hopeful. I'm excited. It's got me back into wrestling and wanting to actually watch Monday Night Raw. Because it's been a long time since I ever felt really inspired to sit down in front of my TV for 3 hours and watch an episode of Raw or SmackDown. And I'm interested to see which direction they take this and how it continues to go. I mean, we're 2 weeks in, so far so good. I haven't personally had any, like, technical issues as far as Netflix or the streaming is concerned. I've seen a lot of people, talk about how they were worried about when it did finally come to Netflix, if we would just be stuck on a buffering screen, and that was thanks to the whole Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight, which I also watched, but it buffered like every 5 minutes, so it was difficult to actually get through that entire match. But no, so far so good. Lots of promise. I'm interested to see kind of what direction they go. As if I was to sum up, um, what I thought of Monday Night Raw as far as the premiere on Netflix goes, I would say that it was epic.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I mean, I realized watching it that it wasn't necessarily your typical Monday Night Raw. And it definitely showed. I mean, obviously the production's great. It was a mass amount of epic proportion for
Mhm.
sure. And I think that was completely on purpose. It just seemed like a like a production meant for executives and famous people to be like, this is what we're all about. This is almost like a circus in a way. You know what I mean? Here's our biggest talent, minus a few, but for I guess the timing that they had, there was a lot of talking, there was a lot of promos, which is totally fine. I mean, the guys that they had coming out promoing are main eventers mostly.
Mhm.
So it was entertaining enough. It wowed me as well. I was excited. I was excited. I mean, we saw The Rock, we saw The Undertaker, um, we saw Hulk Hogan get booed,
Dude,
which was funny
we
as
have to
fuck.
we have to talk about that. Hulk Hogan got booed out of Los Angeles that night. And I'm a Hulkamaniac, okay, through and through. When I was a kid growing up, Hulk Hogan was my hero. So there's a part of me that was a little bit sad for him because I know how much he's done for the industry. And thankfully, he's been around for all these pivotal moments throughout the course of the WWE,
Yeah,
right?
Hulk
Like,
Hogan. That's again. I think everybody would agree to you with you. Absolutely, is that I think everybody. I won't say everybody, but let's say most people were Hulkamaniacs. They know exactly what he's done for the business. They've seen him create what is wrestling today. You know what I mean? Like it's
mhm.
obviously taking effect on other promotions as well. I mean, he's been everywhere. Um, I think he's just dug himself a little bit of a hole that he can't quite get out of. But you saw some people saying, "Oh, it has to do with politics," and "Oh, it's fucking racist." Um, and I guess maybe it played a little bit of both, but we saw the Undertaker come out, and I guess he's got the same political views, and he didn't get booed. So it's got to be one thing or another. But again, I think we can all live with the history that he's created and still kind of see that and oversee the fact that who he is personally. And again, this goes with any wrestler. I mean, what they did for the company, great, it's awesome. I try not to take the personal things that he's done in real life into consideration when I'm watching him on TV. You know what I mean? And I know some people can do that and some people can't. I probably wouldn't have booed him, but I guess a whole city booing, that's a huge effect.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm not so sure it's cut and dry. Like I've heard a lot of people on one side say that he got booed because it was a political thing. He was front and center for Donald Trump and supporting him. And The Undertaker didn't get booed because even though their politics kind of align, he wasn't as front and center, in character like Hulk Hogan was, really promoting Donald Trump. Um, and then I've also heard people talk about they booed Hulk Hogan because well, he's a racist and he's made lots of racist remarks in the past. I think there's something that we're missing though, because Hulk Hogan's made a number of appearances even after the racial slurs, the allegations around that when the phone call was released years ago, the WWE and him parted ways, and it wasn't for like a number of years, 2, 3, I can't remember exactly, before Hulk Hogan finally did arrive and come back, and he was basically more of like a WWE ambassador. So I don't know if it's a personal thing. I don't even know if it's a political thing. I'm starting to wonder a little bit if the frustration kind of lies in when Hulk Hogan shows up, he cuts a shitty promo in character promoting whatever the hell it is that he's told to promote. And really there's no point. It doesn't add any actual entertainment value. Is it cool to see a wrestler that we all grew up and at one point maybe either loved or hated, and was influential in the business? Yes. Is it also possible that he came out and everybody knew the second he opened his mouth, he was just going to promote some shitty beer that nobody in America is going to drink because they're already they're already tied to Budweiser or whatever their brand of choice is. No one's going to be drinking this real American beer. So is it possible that it's just a level of fatigue? They're not utilizing him right. And when he comes out, he just says a whole lot of nothing. And it really just kind of leaves you going, what was the point of that? I personally would have liked to see him lean into it a little bit because he looked fucking like a deer in the headlights, you know?
And
As soon as the
he usually does. Like, I mean, at least for the last appearances we've seen him come to WWE. I mean, the last time we saw him, he could barely even walk.
Well, and that's true too, and you notice that even when he came out on that Monday night, he was in rough shape. And I'd read somewhere that I guess his back is in really rough shape right now, so he's having a
Yeah.
hard time walking. So it took a lot of effort just to come out to the ramp and cut that promo. And I'll always respect people's choice to boo or cheer for whoever they want,
Right.
but I felt like Hulk Hogan kind of, like I said, he looked like a deer in the headlights, and somebody who is a veteran in the craft, I don't know, maybe I would have leaned into that. Maybe it's just like something I wish I would have seen, but it would have been so cool if he walked out there, all the boos start coming all his way. He knows he's got some heat, and instead of cutting the traditional like I'm a real American hero promo, say your prayers, drink your milk, eat your vitamins kind of thing. If he just leaned into the hate a little bit and went, all right, I'm going to give you some Hollywood Hogan tonight instead.
And see, this is what I was thinking while you were talking was I've got two questions then. that we could both answer here. And it's one question is, do we think it's time to put Hulk Hogan in the past and stop using him for uh, advertisement deals here, or the hype guy? You know what I mean? Like, is that time and era done for him, and are we getting tired of it? Second question is, should they stop with the all-American Hulk Hogan and turn him heel already and get Hollywood Hulk Hogan out here and just be a ruthless badass like he used to be? I mean, you know, get that NWO feel to it. I mean, I think it's been long enough, and I know maybe it's kind of silly to keep thinking you should, you know, be good guy, bad guy, good guy, bad guy, good. But I think Hulk Hogan did it good when, you know, he did both sides good. You know what I mean? You know, you were hype when he was Hollywood, and you were hype when he was the, you know, American. You know what I mean? And I guess that's for me. I guess I'll answer it real quick. I guess for me, I do think he's in the past. I think we should stop using him and thinking it's going to change. I think that for me, let's keep the image of Hulk Hogan in the past, or at least, you know, in the somewhat the days where he was iconic. You know what I mean? I think the time is done. I think we should just put it up in the Hall of Fame, and that's it. You know what I mean? It's over. Now, if you're going to keep them, I honestly think they should have just came out with Hollywood Hulk Hogan. I mean, if they, like, I guess the question is, did they know that he was going to get booed? Did they have a feeling that this might happen? Considering they do follow social media, he's never been very popular in social media whatsoever. I mean, the Iron Sheik he reminds us how not important Hulk Hogan is at times.
I loved his Twitter posts all the time. Those were so gold,
and they're mostly just "fuck you, Hulk Hogan."
Oh, they're fantastic. There's like a literal rap song by Macho Man Randy Savage. It's a diss track directed at Hulk Hogan, and we should listen to it sometime because it's freaking perfection, man.
For sure.
But to answer your question, yes, I do think we leave Hulk Hogan in the past. I think any more future appearances by him are just going to continue to taint the legacy that he leaves behind. I mean, he's
Right.
a two-time Hall of Famer. So the guy's, you know, he's well past his due. He's been recognized as one of the people, if not the person that put professional wrestling on the map. It doesn't really bear any weight anymore because it's 2025. It's been a long time since we've seen Hulk Hogan in the ring. I think it was a little bit more understandable when he would come back and have a match here and there. I'm thinking about like 2005 SummerSlam, him and HBK, epic match. I know a lot of people hated it, but I loved Shawn Michaels overselling in that. But anyways, that's a different story. Um, I do think it's fair to say let the guy just, you know, just rest. I don't think there's a nostalgic pop with Hulk Hogan anymore. I think if you want to keep making merch so that way longtime fans and even some of the older guys, maybe that never got to own a Hulkamania t-shirt when they were kids, can buy one, go ahead. But as far as on-screen appearances, I think it's time to lay it to rest. But this to answer the second part of your question, uh, I think the reality is if the WWE decides that they're going to keep him as an on-screen ambassador, whether that's for promoting Real American Beer or any other product that they want him to, or even like a pay-per-view, or God forbid they have him as like a guest commentator one night. Who knows? I mean, I heard there's a position available. You can ask Corey Graves about it, but
Nice. Nice.
the the reality is I feel like if the WWE does keep him as an on-screen personality, they need to They need to lean into this because any reaction is better than no reaction. If LA was completely dead silent when Hulk Hogan hits the ramp, that's a problem. Boos are not a problem. Cheers are not a problem, and neither is a mixed reaction. It's what you do with it going forward. If
Yeah.
you can suspect that if we have Hulk Hogan at the next Monday Night Raw and he's gonna get booed, you should have a plan. And I think the plan is have him come out, black and white boas, Hollywood Hulk Hogan, telling the crowd to shut the hell up, let him finish his promo, cut it like he did back in the NWO, and get the hell out of there. I think that would be fantastic. I would probably actually pop just sitting in my seat if Voodoo Child started playing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think that's the best way to make, yeah, the best of a worst case situation.
For sure.
Um if you're going to decide to keep him around. If not, I say just let him go do his thing, and let's just move on from Hulk Hogan. There's lots of memories. We can watch it all on Netflix. I
Yeah.
can watch all of his WrestleMania appearances. Hopefully they get WCW on there so we can relive some of the Nitro days with the NWO. But outside of that, I think he's definitely behind us, and
Yeah.
that's
No.
coming from a Hulkamaniac. Okay,
Oh, for sure. For sure. And I mean, like, you're not the only one that probably agrees with that, right? And yeah, and I think, what you said about that was like, if they were to use him further, use the booze as fuel, right? And
absolutely.
at this point, I think they probably won't bring him back anytime soon, at least. Um, so, but if they do, and they're listening, you know what to do.